Microsoft Excel interface consists of many components. These components together give you the experience that you need in order to work with the data. In order to understand Excel interface, we have to first understand its object model. Object model is basically a model that depicts or that describes where everything fits. An object is anything that you see on the Microsoft Excel. It could be a pivot table, it could be a single cell, it could be an entire workbook or worksheet, it could be a property as well of any kind of data or a cell or any other object. So these objects start with the hardware itself. Our system or our computer is actually the hardware where the operating system is installed. This operating system has many applications installed. One of them is Microsoft Excel. Excel has three major components. One is the workbook where you actually work. Command bars, the one that you see on the top, these are the command or the menu or the toolbars which is uh, which exist for each of these workbooks. And then we have ribbon. So ribbon is basically this part that you see where you see the font, the options for the formatting of the text, conditional formatting, and so on. Right. So these three major things basically creates Excel. Now, if you move uh, back to workbook, workbook itself is made of two parts. One is worksheet, and the other one is VBA project. So worksheet are these that you see here. So these are the actual um, places where you actually work with the data and you do modifications and so on. That VBA project is something that is an interface which is uh, attached to a workbook where you can actually write the VBA code and custom functions for automation of daily tasks or repetitive tasks. Now, once we understand the object model, we have to understand the interface now. So, in the interface, we have the menu bar, which is the top that you see here, where we have file, edit, view, insert, and so on, right? Below that, you would see home, insert, draw, and so on, which is called toolbar, right? Menu and toolbar are actually one and the same thing. It's just that the format in which we see them, it's a bit different, right? Um, for example, data has sort, autofilter, subtotals, and so on, right? And if you look at data here, you would find almost all the options exist here, but this is clearly structured so that you can use them properly, right? Ribbon is a specific place, or like this bar is a specific place where you have options according to the selected menu bar. Like if I go to insert, you would see different options. If I go to draw, you would see different options, right? So this ribbon, right, contains all the options for that specific menu bar that you have selected. Quick access toolbar, it's a derivation of the toolbar on the top that you see here, where we have close, resizing options and minimizing options, along with auto save toggle and some uh, quick commands that I actually use on a daily basis, right? You can basically change them and to anything that you want. Worksheet, it's the place where you actually house the data, and one workbook can have multiple worksheets. For example, this workbook is called Interface and it has three worksheets currently. Um, if we click here, you can actually see the name of the workbook. You can change it and you can change the place where it is saved as well. Okay, so now rows, columns, and cells. So the horizontal line that you see here, it's actually a row. The vertical line is a column and a single cell is a cell. A collection of any or more than one of these things is a range. So if I select this, it becomes a range, right? If I select a single column, it is a range. If I select a row, it is again called a range. So range is basically any number of rows or columns or cells selected together. Name box is something that you see here where you see A7 right now. So anything that you would select, the name will appear here as column and row. So B9 is column B and ninth row. Uh, Name box has different purposes as well. So you can custom name any range selected. So if I select this and try and rename it to anything else, I can basically reuse it later. We'll go back to name box in order to understand how we can make the formulas a little bit easier to understand and manage. Function bar is the place where you see this. Uh, if I click on the drop down, it will expand and you can write any of your formulas or functions here. This will be extensively used when we come to the formulas, but mind you, there is a FX button which is insert function option. So if you click on it, it will basically give you a list of all the functions that are available in Excel, and whatever formula you would select, it basically helps you to get the definition and the syntax of that formula. The only thing that is that you have to understand what you need to do, right? And this guide will actually help you in order to do it, right? Okay, so after the function bar, we have zoom in and zoom out, which is the option here. So I can zoom out like this and zoom in, right? Page view. So you will see there are three icons here. One is the normal view and the other one is page view, which can be used for people who use Excel for printing data sheets. Now, here you would see that we have ready, sheet 3 of 3, workbook statistics, accessibility investigate. Okay, so if I go ahead and right click on it, you would see there are a lot of things available, right? One of them is this, like this section where you see average count, numerical count, and so on, so on, right? So let me show you an example where I have 1, 2, and 3. So if I select this particular range, you would see that average, count, min, max, and sum are already appearing, right? So you don't have to actually create a formula in order to get this information about some numerical data that you have, right? You can obviously custom change this, so you can right click and maybe if you don't want the count, you can basically uncheck it. uh, I would encourage you to go ahead and look at these entire list of options that are available.